This is the defence proposal for student ID number 07001083. Research project title: Is there hope for horses with laminitis?
Why have you chosen to base your research on this?
I have chosen to base my research around a particular area, which is the Murray and Aberdeenshire area, around businesses and individuals, such as the riding schools, world horse welfare and veterinary practices in the area. I feel it will give a good sizable sample area to conduct my research on. However, this disease does affect the whole of the UK and many other parts of the world.
Why are you researching this particular topic?
I am researching this topic as it interests me on what can affect the athleticism and general soundness of horses through foot problems. With laminitis being one of the most common causes of lameness and disability of horses and ponies in the UK, I feel it was the most appropriate subject topic to study. It has previously been researched that it does not affect one certain breed or age or sex of horse or pony, and it can happen in any area. It has most commonly been referred to as the disease of the fat ponies. Also, with seeing a couple of horses this year locally at the yard that I'm based at with my own horse, I would like to increase my knowledge and be able to help increase others' knowledges into this disease and what can be done and how to diagnose it early enough and how they could maybe prevent or manage it depending on how serious the case is.
What are your main literature sources and how have you located and accessed these?
My main literature sources are from online journals by veterinarians. For example, Robert A. Eustace, he is my main source. The research that he has conducted has been very in-depth and has helped to show what the main causes, diagnosis and treatments have been in the past. And I've located these journals mainly through the Laminitis Trust website and also through the website thehorse.com. My main two books explaining laminitis is Explaining Laminitis and Its Prevention by Susan McBain and Robert A. Eustace, and also Veterinary Advice on Laminitis in Horses by Rebecca Hamilton Fletcher. These two books will give good in-depth knowledge into possible prevention techniques and also advice of management as well. These were found through Amazon online, and they were also recommended to me by individuals which have had cases of laminitis, and they feel that this gave them the best knowledge and really helped them in treating and managing the cases that they have suffered. Also, the Barefoot website was found throughout the research that I have been conducting into this laminitis. These treatments seem to appear to be the most common ones, and I felt this was useful to look into some more to see if this is still the case or if there is better techniques out there to manage and prevent it. Also, to help with the whole project, I will be using the research methods for business students by Saunders, Lewis and Thornhill. This will help to ensure that my research that is conducted in the correct way and to ensure that the best quality and valid research is undertaken and presented and analysed in an informative way.
What is the overall aim of your proposal and why?
My overall aim is to find out the causes, diagnosis and treatment through management or prevention of laminitis. It will help me gain more knowledge and to others as well to whom this research is passed on to try and help prevent and manage this disease and promote a quicker and fuller recovery, which will greatly increase the horses and ponies' welfares.
What are the research questions you are setting out to answer?
The research questions which I'm setting out to answer are: 1. What are the causes, signs of laminitis? 2. How is it diagnosed? 3. What treatments are available? And 4. Recovery for the horse through management or prevention.
What methodologies are you using to conduct your research and why?
I have chosen to conduct my research through primary and secondary data. However, I will also be working deductively from theory to data. This will give me a baseline to work from towards my aim and towards my questions for this project that I will be testing for the research. Also, I will collect data inductively, where I will collect all the data and analyse it myself and see the theories that emerge solely in the one area. These two methods will be analysed together, so I will be using a well-established theoretical construct. I will also be using primary data. This will be done mainly through a questionnaire and through one-on-one and face-to-face interviews in the Murray and Aberdeenshire area. The questionnaire will be self-administered and specifically and strategically designed to ask about laminitis, always referring back to the main research project questions. This will give me a good sizable sample area to collect quantitative feedback. It will also enable me to analyse the most appropriate statistics and responses, and where appropriate be presented through graphs to compare causes with one another, such as your causes, your treatments and recovery it's taken for the horses to either come back to full recovery or part recovery. The interview will be more of a qualitative response, the purpose here being to get a more personal feel of what has gone on and to better understand the nature of the problem from a more emotional point of view from owners that have undergone laminitis in their horses. The secondary data will look at data that's already out there and research that's already been undertaken by others. It will look into and provide information on what laminitis is and what is so far believed to have been the main causes and the best treatments available out there, and it will provide a comparative and will be useful to compare data that I have collected with the secondary data. And this secondary data will be mainly through journals of veterinary advice of research already conducted and also books.
Who are your research sample and how will you gain access?
My research sample will be gained through the local riding clubs such as the Murray Riding Club and the Strathyla Riding Club, both of which I will send out questionnaires to and ask them to pass these on via email to their contacts and members. I do know that they do send out regular newsletters to everyone, so this should not be a problem, and I also know some of the members on there. I will also put some questionnaires into some local businesses in the area, such as A&I Supplies, which is like a livestock shop where a lot of horse people get their feeds and that. I'll also be putting into some local tack shops in the Aberdeenshire area and in Inverness as well. I will drive and drop off and collect some of the results personally. I will drop an email also into World Horse Welfare in Aberdeenshire containing the questionnaire to see if I can get some feedback on them on cases that they have had into their establishment. All questionnaires can be completed and either emailed back to myself or via post, or I can personally collect them. The interviews will be conducted on a couple of individuals which I know have gone through and experienced laminitis.
Are there any ethical or special issues to be considered?
Some ethical issues would have to be considered in conducting this research, mainly through my primary research stage, where the participants may be deceptive in answering these questionnaires. For example, some may feel that they need to answer these questionnaires, but they actually have never dealt or seen a case of laminitis in their life. Although some who may choose their information to be kept confidential and or themselves confidential, which is not a problem as everyone has their right to privacy and should not feel pressurised into answering everything or anything. They're very welcome to answer just a few due to emotional reminders that may be brought up in looking at these questions. They also have the right to state whether or not I am allowed to process their data and display it if I need to. However, if I need to, there will be a checkbox on questionnaires stating whether or not I'm allowed to present their data. They may also choose to withdraw or not answer at all.
What are you doing to ensure validity of your research?
To ensure the validity, I will be making sure that the content will cover all the investigative questions that I have set out to answer throughout this research project, whether it be secondary or primary data. Internal validity in relation to my questionnaire will basically refer to the ability that my questionnaire has to measure what I intended to measure in the first place by looking at the evidence through secondary data that I will collect will help to support the answers that I get back through the primary data. The questionnaires and interviews, obviously, and the relevance to the questions which I have set out for this project. This will ensure answers received are genuine and accurate, which will be supported by the secondary data. There will be a limitation of horses and ponies suffering the disease with them being within the last 5 years, to allow a much more up-to-date set of data to analyse and show any new techniques that may be out there helping the recovery of the horses. And it should also be quite fresh in participants' memories of what happened and what was done. And also, by giving them a large window of possibly 4 to 6 weeks to return answers, they will not feel rushed to answer. However, with this being such a long time, I will send out reminders of this questionnaire and maybe catch anybody that we didn't catch in the first batch of questionnaires.
What do they anticipate will be gained through your research?
What will be gained through this research will be a good in-depth understanding of what causes laminitis, whether it be through human error, such as nutritional error, through grazing or overfeeding, or whether it has just been hereditary, how we can diagnose this disease accurately, as many factors or signs can also be read into wrongly and they can diagnose a wrong disease. This will benefit businesses in diagnosing this disease early, aiding a horse in having a full recovery, which will be beneficial to everyone, and also allowing everyone to see how it has been tackled, how others have managed it and prevented it, and what treatments are best through either nutritional advice or farriery options such as your barefoot trimming or corrective shoeing, such as your heart bar shoes or your plastic shoes or anything like that. Also through comparing primary data and secondary data, and also comparing participants' data together. This will give a more informative view on the extent of the disease and be more beneficial to charities and vets, as this will show whether or not they can do something more in this area, such as discussion nights or running courses for the people in this area to ensure that horse owners have the correct knowledge and understanding before taking on a horse, and to prevent this disease if it is shown to still be a large problem in this area, as many diseases are brought on through human error, and hopefully this will prevent this happening in the future.